They say the darkest nights are the safest, for when the shadows rest between the stars, it means they are not down here, walking among us. The land of Terra was turned upside down when magic and monsters of legend were unleashed overnight on a civilization unprepared, a shared nightmare now known simply as the Red Night. At the center of the upheaval, a small band of ordinary folks endeavored to unravel the arcane mysteries behind the discord and forge a path back to the peace they once knew. This is their story. Hello, and welcome to Pearlfire Discovery, a tale of magic, monsters, and mystery told collaboratively through the Pearlfire system. This role-playing game captures the immersion of a legend told around the campfire using only a handful of simple rules spiced with a little dice rolling chaos. I'm your narrator, Aaron Pickering, and I'm joined by our three players.
I'm Claire Ellerhorst, and I play Shantana Tawny Anchor.
I'm Cameron King, and I'm playing Xavier Brightfin.
I'm Sarah King, and I play Dr. Althea Blackwell.
This episode is the third part of Chapter 1, so if you haven't listened to the first two parts yet, you might want to start at the beginning, episode number 1. Alright, come join us by the fire as we continue the story of the Red Night. We see the Crescent District of the city of Thalassea covered in a dense gray-white fog. The opaque dampness gives the narrow, winding, cobblestone streets an even more cramped feeling than usual. It's eerily silent for midday, and the smells of smoke, ash, and now sulfur cut sharply through the air. About 6 hours ago, the three of you, Althea, Tawny, and Xavier, had woken up cold, disoriented, and alone on the outlook at the top of the Calderon Ridge, where the Thalassean crystal pylon used to stand. Since then, you've slowly made your way down the mountain, observed some strange new flora and fauna, and even had to fend off a dangerous hyena-like creature to rescue two other travelers running from the dangers in the city. You stop by the Temple of the Ocean to warm up, tend your wounds, and learn a little more about what's going on. From everything you've heard, you're going the wrong way. You're the only ones going into the city. But your courage has inspired at least two other people, Casey and Victoria, to follow you back into the dangers of the city in an attempt to figure out what's going on. You're currently just inside the edge of town and standing outside the charred remains of the Golden Moldies, a specialty cheese shop. Casey had ducked inside for a little rummaging and is just now using their crowbar to pry apart some boards and step back out into the street. Stuffed in their mouth, you see a chunk of bread topped with a thick slice of yellow cheese. Eventually, they're able to push their way out and return to the four of you. It's a shame. I used to love that place. So where are we headed?
My vote is to head by my shop. It's not too far from here, actually. There's some stuff I want to get there.
You have a shop?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think you'll like it.
What kind of shop?
Oh, all sorts of things. You'll see. Sound like a plan?
That seems certainly like a good idea. We head to your shop and see what we can see of the rest of the city. Maybe, Victoria, were you wanting to head to the police station?
Yeah, we should definitely go there eventually. I'd like to find out where my parents are, but I don't know. Eventually I'll want to go to their house, but we can stop there. I know we've got Casey's mom's badge. Maybe that'll get us in and we can get some more information about what's going on, where we need to go.
Fine idea after we stop at Xavier's shop.
Where is your shop, Xavier, versus the police station?
That should be on the way, approximately.
That's convenient.
Yeah, things work out that way.
Yeah, you're currently on the very edge of the Crescent District, and you're going to have to go more or less downtown into the heart of the Crescent District to get to the police station. So Xavier's shop it's a little bit out of the way, but it's more or less along the way.
It's definitely on the way. Only Tawny knows I'm lying about this.
Well, has Tawny even been to your shop?
No, but she'll know I'm lying about this.
Oh.
Well, yeah, once you actually go. Yeah, because she knows the layout.
Shall we?
We shall.
Do we see a lot of people in the Crescent District as we're walking through? Are there a lot of people out on the streets, or no?
Where you are right now, the streets are pretty bare. There's no pedestrians, and the cobblestones look largely normal. It's just the broken and shuttered windows that look out of place. As you get further into town, however, you gradually get a better idea for just how brutal last night was. The first human you find is just lying on the sidewalk in front of an apartment. There are doors ajar, and there's a ring of keys hanging out of the keyhole, but they're lying on the ground motionless.
Are they dead?
Yeah. As you get farther down the street, going deeper into the city, you see even more sights like that. Some of them are humans with bite marks or burns or other injuries. Some are creatures that appear almost normal. There's a couple coyotes with what appears to be like a thin brown and green moss-like fur with leaves and branches in the fur. You see them from a distance, and as you approach them, you see a tiny pair of glowing orbs about the size of your fist, one pink and one light blue. They pop out from behind the bodies, and they quickly float away up over the rooftops.
From the human bodies?
No, from the little moss coyotes.
Tawny is visibly freaked out and tries to hide behind. Are there boulders or other things along the side of the road?
There's the front of a shop. The door got knocked down, so there's a door and shelving and stuff in the street.
I'm gonna unholster that gun. Actually, I probably don't even have a holster for it, but I'm gonna have it in my hand as we walk through town. It seems like the town is more dangerous even than the wilderness was. Tawny, are you alright? You look a little bit shaken. What did you see there?
I don't even know what I saw. Things flying around. Glowing orbs. I'm white-knuckling my skillet. And sticking to the sides of the road where the buildings are, any structures, and being very suspicious and paranoid.
So are you trying, as you go through the streets, are you trying to be sneaky? Are you trying to be fast? Are you trying to be loud and announce your presence to not spook anything? How are you progressing through the streets?
Carefully?
Quick, but not blustery.
I'll make sure we stick together pretty close as well. We don't want anybody getting out of eyesight of anybody else.
So you're focusing on not being surprised.
Correct.
Can I have someone give me an observation maneuver?
Yeah, almost like different roles where somebody's watching our back, somebody's watching left, someone's watching right, someone's watching forward or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I'm leading the way, so...
You definitely are.
And
For sure.
when you are in a party with other people, unless they are acting completely independently of you, generally they are not going to roll to like aid in stealth or aid in observation or something like that. But if you roll and you are one away from a success, then they can give you a +1 if them being a part of whatever that is would actually help you a little bit.
We'll see if I need it. Don't be killed. Don't be killed. All right. That was a 5 with no modifiers.
So, Xavier, as you're walking along, you do not see anything moving except for the occasional rat, a small number of rats running along the streets. You do make eye contact with someone peering out of a shutter that is just barely ajar, but as soon as they see you making eye contact with them, they slam the shutter closed and you can hear them barring the window from the other side. Otherwise, you don't really see anything. And the rest of the trip to your shop is uneventful.
It's just bodies everywhere.
I wouldn't say everywhere. It's not like a war zone, but there's definitely been some horrible stuff last night.
Do we see any more signs of those grass coyote things or the fire demon footprints?
You do not see any more footprints, and you would not expect to, given that it rained most of the morning. So you cannot discern whether you think that they came in this direction or not. You do see a vibrant silver and gold snake that was wrapped around a woman with whom it had traded death blows, however, so they're both past.
I assume that these creatures are nothing like any of us have seen or heard before.
No, they're unusual. Some of them in coloration, some of them in more pronounced ways, like the leaves on the coyotes, or the little colored orbs that you saw there. Things are strange. You see more of that blue lichen in some places, not on any human-constructed buildings, but where you have like a little park area or something like that with natural formed stones, you do see a little bit of that blue lichen.
Have we seen any animals that were normal? Like squirrels or rats or...
The rats?
The rats.
Okay.
You're in a pretty dense city area right now, so I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of rabbits or squirrels or something like that.
Is there anything like
You see the occasional
seagulls?
bird. Yeah, you see some seagulls.
And they seem to be, seagulling around.
They are seagulling.
Yeah, something's normal.
At least they aren't people-eating monsters. How big was that snake, by the way?
It was very big. It was like snack on a person big.
Like Burmese python size?
Yep.
Are Burmese pythons snack on people sized?
They can be.
They can get very large, yeah.
Yeah, they eat alligators.
Cool.
And those are not common occurrences around this area.
Mm-mm.
No joke.
But you make your way through without encountering any dangerous creatures or any other humans walking around. And you're able to come up to your shop. Xavier, can you describe what it looks like?
It's a small shop with a weathered wood front. Been through a few too many storms and even more days with the sun beating down on it. Up above the door, there's a fading sign that says the name of the shop. Brightfin's Trinkets, Toys, and Timepieces. And the timepieces part was clearly added later. There's a large display window with a number of small items like ships and bottles, little clockwork toys that I imagine are not doing anything since I haven't been in the shop to wind them up, and jewelry made of seashells, things like that. And to say, well, would you like to step in?
As long as you don't have any snakes in there, sure, let's go.
They're not mine, so feel free to kill them if you see any.
I'll cock my gun? That was menacing.
No, I mean, seriously, they're not mine.
Alright, well, okay.
You see Victoria, hold up her spade, eyeing the floor as she approaches the front door and making...
Oh, for the tides. I go in.
Just usher everybody in. Go, go, go.
You hear the bell above the door, and then you'll hear a bunch of clocks ticking and just pieces of clockwork just all going. You smell sawdust and machine oil and some solder. It's not a very large shop, but there are a few display tables inside, and when you enter, it looks a lot nicer on the inside than it is on the outside. Those large display tables are all made out of highly polished teak, and all the shelves are full. It's cluttered all over the place, but it's clean.
Well, isn't this quaint? I just want to, play with all these lovely little wind-up toys.
And I gesture towards the back of the shop where there's a display counter with more expensive items, silver watches like the one I have, nicer clocks. And there's a really heavy-looking door towards the back that I head towards and open up and invite everyone inside.
Nice place you have, Xavier.
I like it. It's been in the family for a while.
Yeah, Casey does not follow you back into the back room. They're out in the front poking at a ship on the bottle or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
As long as there's not any snakes around. It looks pretty normal in here, for once. As far as any buildings around here, this one looks untouched on the inside. That's nice.
Xavier is smiling because he's just happy to see it's not smashed and everything's still standing. It's the first time you've seen him look happy.
Victoria walks up to you and she says, so do you have shutters or something? Can we close the windows if we need to?
Not really. That's why I'm taking us into the back.
Oh, so no one can see us through the windows.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Casey, come on in here. Let's close the door behind us.
Close a heavy door.
And you did not light any candles or lamps or anything in the main store when you got in, did you?
No. And an even heavier iron bar goes over to lock the door behind us.
Tawny goes over to give it a good feel and a good shake. Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Why do you have such a heavy bar on your door for your back storeroom?
It's a dangerous area.
Well,
This is like the shop center for the Crescent District.
I am bald-faced lying.
And actually, is it difficult to get enough material for such a big, heavy bar?
Probably.
seems like that's probably a very expensive metal bar.
It is expensive. It costs money through trade. It has to be shipped here.
Mhm.
But there is not a worldwide shortage of metal that makes it unusually high priced.
Well, there are some metals that are actually very difficult to, produce without fossil fuels.
Yes. And so that introduces a increase in relative cost, but that same increase in relative cost is applied to a lot of things sans Industrial Revolution.
Cool.
So even food and textiles. Textiles is a big one.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
So it's a little weird. Not too weird. Anyway, it's not a huge back room, but there's some chairs. There's a really nice couch that he's taken many a nap on. A number of cabinets. And a very large woven grass rug in the middle of the room. Feel free to take a seat. I need to get something out of there. And I walk over to one of the cabinets and get my crossbow.
And this crossbow has the heavy tag, doesn't it?
It does.
So you can use your full power attribute whenever you're using this. Better than that little short bow on your back.
I'm not really practiced with it, but it's better.
All right, what else do you guys do?
I sit down on the couch. I turn to Tawny and say, have I not taken a look at that wound yet? I'm so sorry. I was so scatterbrained. Let me see if I can patch that up a little better.
Thanks, Doc.
I need to bandage up my own arm as well. That was a really scorched job I did earlier. So I would like to use my first aid kit and roll to get rid of my harm and Tawny's harm.
Okay. So which are you rolling for first? You?
Yeah, I think me first. I have a skill called Six Fingers, which gives me a +1 to finesse and subtlety maneuvers, requiring fine motor skills of the hand. Can I use that for first aid kit rolls, if I use finesse?
Yes.
So, roll a d8 +1 to try and see if I can get rid of my harm. That's a total of 6.
That succeeds. With your first aid kit, with a first level harm that is treatable, all you need to get is a 3, so that's pretty easy. For second and third level harm, you have to roll higher, so these are pretty easy.
Yeah, and I think what that looks like as far as bandaging herself up, she is super good at it. Just like easily does it one-handed, no problem at all. Because, she already feels her own pain, so that's not going to be a problem. And then she'll turn to Tawny, and she's been feeling more comfortable with this because she did patch up some people back at the temple. So she feels like, she can handle whatever's going to come now. She's starting to be able to, separate it a little bit from herself. She can still feel it and is conscious of it, but doesn't feel quite as much like it's her own body. So I'm also going to roll to use my first aid kit to patch up Tawny.
Out of curiosity, are you trying to hide any reactions?
I think at this point, no. So I rolled a total of 7 to patch up Tawny, and I think at this point I'm not trying to hide it. So I do have to touch Tawny as I do it, and I do, wince a little bit as I'm touching her, and I say, this really hurts. I can't believe you were able to be so proficient with a burn like this.
Burning like something else.
Oh, it'll feel so much better with this poultice. Yeah, see? Oh yeah, feels better already. I can tell, doesn't it?
That does feel a lot better.
Yeah, you see this leaf when you split it open, it's got a little soothing gel inside of the leaf. It's really nice.
I take it and I squish it.
And then we'll just sit on the couch while Xavier does what he needs to do.
Yeah, and in the fiction, the way that this works, you're not actually healing the wounds. What you're doing is preparing them and treating them and wrapping them in such a way. So you both have no harm. You do not have 1 point of harm anymore. The injury is still there and it's still going to recover, but it's to the point that it does not count against the 3 harm, that once you hit that 3 harm, then you're going to be pulled out of the fight, effectively. It's mitigated in a way that you can carry on in a much better way than if it had been completely untreated.
Sounds great.
Everything look okay back here? All normal and not tampered with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing in your shop has been upset in any way. It hasn't been ransacked. Nobody's been inside of it. It all looks good.
Good.
No earthquake damage or force wave.
Wait, hold on. I think one of the little toy figures in the front room might have fallen over.
Devastation.
Which one was it? Don't tell me it was the leaping dolphin.
It was the leaping dolphin.
Kelp?
You knew when you made the thing that the base was too narrow, but
It's just 2 days' work.
That's all.
At least it's not like the golden moldies.
Thank the tides.
So I'm not quite familiar with the layout of the city. Is the mayor's house between us and the police station or vice versa?
you were asking where Victoria's house was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's going to have to answer that. My parents' house is down Admiral's Way, off to the east. The police station is pretty close to where we are here. And then the family's house, it's a ways away.
Xavier, we were gonna check on some of your family as well.
I think we should see to Casey, at the least. This isn't a safe place.
You want to drop Casey off?
Taking Casey to the police station.
Yeah, and since Mom's a member of the police, seems like the right place to go, despite discomfort.
So, to the police station, I suppose. Then we'll see if we can start checking on people's families after that. Hopefully they'll be safe there.
Casey, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I mean, I'm here to help you guys. I mean, if you don't want me along, I guess I can stay there, but like I can help.
We know you can, Casey. It's not safe out there, and we want you to be safe. We'll definitely come back to get you if we need anything, but we'd really feel a lot better if we left you in the hands of the police.
Well,
Your mom's friends, your mom's coworkers.
they've held their own in the fights we've had before. I don't know. I mean, none of us are safe anywhere.
Just give me a chance. Let me prove myself.
I look them up and down. How do they look? Like, are they looking scared but determined?
Yeah.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I mean, they had the bad injury on their hand, and they just wrapped it up tight and strapped a buckler to it and picked up a crowbar. So they're raring to go.
All right. Looks like I was wrong.
I guess we need all the hands we can get.
Yeah?
Let's go. Let's see if they have any information about what areas of town are safe now. Let's see if they know anything about Victoria's family. Right?
Tawny hesitantly says, yeah, if it's on the way, I guess it wouldn't hurt to stop in.
Looks like we have a quorum. All right. Gonna be great.
Okay, so you just step outside, close up shop on your way out?
Yep. Make sure no lights are on.
I guess we could get something here to strap the pot and the pan to us. Easier to carry.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, for the purposes of game mechanics, they are improvised weapons, so they have 0.5 load, if you want to bring them with you.
What's our max load?
Level 0 should be 2.
I don't know what Althea having the walking armory skill and thus being able to carry 2 more than everyone else looks like in the fiction. I just think it's like she's got a lot of pockets.
She is built.
No, she has a strength of D4.
Oh.
No, I think your walking armory skill, which grants +2 to your load, I think that is reflected in her organization skills. So she just has everything nice and neatly tucked exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, so I've just got lots of pockets, and I know exactly where each thing is in each pocket. All that, yeah. Makes perfect sense.
And Xavier's pot is just on his head.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I've found another belt or something and strapped it around the handle, and I'm wearing it over one shoulder and the crossbow over the other shoulder, and it's just ridiculous.
You're not very subtle now, are you?
Do you have another spare belt?
Sure.
I try to strap this skillet to my arm like a buckler.
Please do this. I love this.
Okay, let's do it.
You just tie a pan to your arm.
Yeah, that way I always have it handy.
Should have let you throw the pan instead of throwing my hat earlier.
Hopefully it won't come to that. This is a lucky skillet.
It's a lucky hat.
All right, everybody have your talismans and other weapons?
Yep.
To the police station. Begrudgingly.
It's actually not too far to the police station. It's probably 5 blocks, something like that. It's more of the same, basically. There's a couple more charred buildings, some more damage in the street. As you approach the police station, in the middle of the road, there's this enormous tree that's just grown out of the stones in the road. And it has full, ripe, delicious-looking mangoes on it. And all around the tree, there's daisies blooming in between the cobblestones. Just behind that tree is the actual police station itself. It is a 2-story structure, painted a slate gray. The windows are closed and boarded up, and there's other forms of reinforcements added around the structure to make it more safe. The front door has a large stack of sandbags in front of it, with only a narrow gap through which to enter. 2 heavily armored Navy sailors with enormous tower shields and pikes stand guard behind the sandbag fortifications. On their shields, you see the seal of the Thalassean Navy. It's the Dost volcano in dark brown, wrapped in a ring of white clouds, surrounded by a viridian ocean. So you have tree, and you have police station, and you have big guards with shields.
Was this tree always here? I say to Xavier and Victoria and Tawny, and anyone who's from here, so everyone but me.
Tawny's mouth is agape, and she's looking up at the tree, staring at the canopy, and slowly shaking her head in complete disbelief.
That's,
This is a new tree.
That seems completely normal. Okay, sure. Why not?
Casey says, I picked my mom up from work yesterday before we... No, it was not here yesterday.
Does it look climbable?
Mm-hmm. It's a mango tree.
Tawny really likes mangoes.
There's a bunch of mangoes hanging from the branches. They look very delicious.
She makes a mental note.
Well, Casey, do you want to lead the way if they know you and you've got your mom's badge? We'll back you up if you don't want to do the talking.
Hi, everyone. This is Claire and Aaron. Thanks for listening. This is our third and last episode in the initial batch of launch podcasts, and we're so happy that you made it this far with us.
After this episode, we're starting our normal bi-weekly release schedule, that's every 2 weeks, which means that Chapter 1.4 will release on March 10th, and Chapter 2.1 will release 2 weeks later on the 24th. But we're also planning to do a bonus fireside chat pod in between where we talk more session type 0 stuff, dig into the rules a little bit more, and also answer listener questions.
And we hope you'll subscribe and continue. Oh, God, stop.
I'm actively sabotaging you.
We hope you'll subscribe and continue listening. We've got an exciting adventure lined up, and this is just the beginning. But in order to keep going, we need to get out there and find more listeners, and we need your help to do it. The launch window is one of the most critical times for a podcast to get off the ground, and we're a bunch of nerds just trying to tell a story. So if we go anywhere, it'll be because of your help and support.
The best way for you to help is to rate and review on your podcast. The best way for you to help?
That's the new type of combat-oriented. It's a pod clasher.
Yes. It's like a battle royale, but with podcasts.
Wait, that's like how launches work. It is a podcast battle royale. And we need your help.
At each other in battle.
And we need you to stand behind us so we can, survive and rise to the top.
Absolutely, yes. The best way that you can help
all three of you, please wave your little flags that you got in the mail.
Whee! Like, what is it, medieval times, but it's Thalassean times.
It is, yeah.
One way you can help is to rate and review us on your podcast platform of choice. And you can follow us on Twitter at Pearlfire RPG and share the podcast using the Pearlfire RPG hashtag. Every review helps, and it's through word of mouth and review that people will find us, so tell your friends.
We're going to be at C2E2 in Chicago this weekend, the 28th and 29th of February, and then we'll be at Podfest in Orlando the next week, which is the 5th through 7th of March. If you're going to be at either of those, hit us up on Twitter at Pearlfire RPG, and maybe we'll see you there. All right, that's all for today. Back to the story. Casey says, yeah, okay. And they start walking up to the front, and the guard holds up their shields and, halt, who goes there? And Casey explains the situation and shows the guard their mom's badge. They let them in, and when you first step inside the police station, it's a complete madhouse. There's a bunch of Navy sailors and officers and whatnot that have set up shop on one side of the building, and on the other side, there's actually only a few actual police officers. Casey gestures to one of the officers that are in the corner. He's sipping on some coffee and looking at some papers, and Casey says, that's Captain June. And Casey looks to Victoria and says, if anyone's going to know what's going on with your family, with the mayor, then Captain June would be the guy.
Well, I will stride over as if I have any right to stride over and say, all right, Casey, come with me. We'll talk to him.
Casey follows you.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
What? Who are you?
My name is Dr. Althea Blackwell. My compatriot here is Casey,
Hildebrand. Yeah, I've met Casey before. I know. Where's Lori?
She is up at the Temple of the Ocean, recovering from an unfortunate injury that she sustained last evening.
Down another one. Another good one.
She'll be all right in a few days.
Oh, you said you're a doctor. Did you treat her?
Did, yes.
You have my gratitude. I'm losing a lot of good officers and need to keep everyone we can in tip-top shape.
So actually, Casey and I and our other compatriots, and I turn around and gesture at Xavier and Tawny, and what do they look like right now? Are they behind me or are they further back?
I was holding back, looking shifty as all.
Tawny was standing directly behind Althea so that she was out of direct line of sight from Captain June, and probably just very straight-faced does a very bare nod.
So our companions and ourselves were coming into town and see if we could find some people we know, including Victoria's family, and see what assistance we could give and see if we could gain some information. What is going on here?
After you say that, Victoria steps out from around behind Tawny, I guess. So you're in a little mambo line, and then she steps out and says, "Hey, Mark, where's my mom and dad?" And Mark, Captain June, recognizes her immediately, and he says, "Nika, what are you doing here? I thought you went up and joined the Sanctuary Order." And she says, "Yeah, I did, but Mom and Dad, have you seen them? I was worried about them. Do you know if they're okay?" Mark responds, "No, I haven't seen them since last night. I don't know where they are. Sorry. Can I offer you guys some coffee? It's about the only thing that we've still got."
Yes, please.
Coffee would be excellent. Any areas of town you can tell us about that we should avoid that are in better or worse shape? Any
Golden snakes or...
strange fire dogs wandering around that you could hit with pots and pans? We've actually been very proficient with that so far.
Yeah, a lot of craziness last night. It just didn't end. There were monsters and creatures and animals and stuff in the streets, and the worst part was there were undead. Like, the dead, like, you could partially decompose, like, up and walking through the streets and attacking folk. That was the biggest danger last night, but since dawn, they've basically disappeared back into the catacombs, and we've got some bunch of my team is over at the catacombs blocking up all the entrances so they don't come back out again. So more or less the streets have been safe this morning. Victoria, you're not gonna like this, but the only holdout in the Crescent District that's still seeing problems is down Admiral's Way, down where your folks live. You mentioned fire dogs. How did you know about that?
We encountered some up above the temple at that place. I don't remember the name. Tawny, what was the name of that? You're from around here.
It was the High Water?
Yes. That's actually where we met Casey and Lori. You have any aluminum bullets? Something like that. Xavier, don't look at me like that. That
Do
was
I
a
have
perfectly
any
reasonable
aluminum
question.
bullets? No.
Yeah, they seem to not like aluminum cookware much.
Aluminum? Why? We've been using bolts, crossbow bolts, and spears on the things, and whatever we hit them with, they just, the wounds just knit back together.
That's what happened when I shot them as well, and I'm a pretty good shot if I do say so myself. Didn't seem to have much effect.
Well, if you were anyone else, I'd be telling you to avoid the Admiral's Way, but maybe they could use your help. Murney's down there too. Chief Taylor is down there too. Or at least that's where she lives, and we haven't seen her all night. It's kind of every person for themselves right now, so, I mean, you're welcome to go swing by Tom's Tool Town. They might have some aluminum stuff. If that's wild that you're telling me that's what'll get them, but I mean, after what I've seen last night, I'll believe anything you tell me.
One last question. Anybody eaten any of them mangoes yet?
I gave the folks on my team strict orders not to.
Sorry, Casey.
If you want the truth, I guarantee somebody has. But I haven't seen it myself. I'm sure they did, though. It's been a long night. We're all famished.
I have one question. You didn't say anything about the Gibbous district.
Oh,
How is it?
right. You from Gibbous?
Me and my family.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
They're still there. Like we've been on the radio with the Gibbous District Police Station, but there's some sort of spider webbing, and it's like frozen. Like the docks themselves are frozen solid, and there's some sort of spider monsters over there, and they seem to be doing a little better this morning, but they got their own problems they're dealing with.
You said they're frozen? Like, with ice?
Yeah, like ice. I know it's springtime. Like, have you been to the water yet? No, there's great big chunks of ice floating out in the water. We can't get any of the smaller boats out. The ice gets in the way.
Tawny says, finally something that I can deal with.
You know ice, Tawny?
Oh, do I know ice?
Ah,
My new friend.
You from Breen?
I am from Breen.
Wait, do you look familiar? Do I know you?
No, definitely not.
I've had ice in a drink. And iced tea is very pleasant. But I don't think I've literally ever seen ice outside. Like, outside.
Well, you're in for a treat, Doc. You ever seen ice with a big old spider on it?
Do crossbow bolts work against spiders?
I don't know. I haven't had a tangle with any of them. They're only on the gibbous side. I haven't seen any of them on land.
Right.
And we can herd the fire dogs to the ice spiders.
No.
And they'll just take...
No.
No? No?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
I wouldn't discount it, though. Although I have to say that ice spiders are also
Terrifying.
very new.
Oh, so that's reassuring. Please tell me if we actually come across something that seems really weird, but it's actually completely normal.
Nothing yet, Doc. Nothing yet.
Well, thank you folks for lending a hand. All my team members, they're all pretty shot after last night and going into this morning. We're running on fumes over here. I don't know what that means. I don't know how we could be running on fumes because we don't have any fossil fuel driven vehicles, but we're very tired.
Running at low tide.
We're running at low tide. That's what I said the whole time. Did you hear me wrong?
Well, thank you for your service. We'll try and stop back by here if we have any good news for you, maybe. I turn around and make eye contact with Tawny and Xavier. And I don't know how they feel about me saying we'll stop back by here. I've been picking up some mixed signals here.
I took Althea turning around as we're leaving.
All right. I turn around and Xavier is leaving. All right, well, there we go. There we go. Goodbye.
Just have a very neutral smile on my face and walk out.
Once we're outside of the police station and a little bit away, and I say, "You two don't like the brass, now do ya?"
What gave it away? Their uppity attitudes in the Crescent District?
Yeah, absolutely, Xavier.
You heard what he said.
I swear, sitting here acting like the Gibbous District doesn't
Kid.
even warrant a
Tawny,
status
kid.
update.
Oh, it's the Gibbous District. I don't know anything about that. Why would I know about that? They don't care about the people.
Whatever your opinions on the police are, remember that is, Casey's parent is police officer. We don't need to...
Yeah,
Yep, nothing against your mom, kid.
Sorry, Casey. Don't mean to.
it's okay.
So your mother seems very pleasant.
She seems fine, honestly.
Alright. Off to the Admiral's Way.
So the five of you step out and you start heading towards Admiral's Way. Did you want to head straight there, or you said you wanted to stop by Tom's Tool Town?
I don't feel like looting a hardware store at this current time, and I highly doubt that they are open.
Yeah, I don't think we have to resort to that quite yet, but...
I don't know why that was in character answer.
Who are you talking to, Althea?
Say it out loud. Oh no, what? I just was establishing my character intent to not go to Tom's Tool Town, despite whatever aluminum they may or may not have. You got your pot? I think that's all we need.
In that case, you continue down the streets towards the Admiral's Way. It's a little bit farther than the initial trip to Xavier's shop from where you entered at the Golden Moldies, but you get there well enough. You do notice one thing that's new. You found a couple bodies, human bodies, that are partially decomposed and dressed in funerary attire on the way there. When they died, again, when the undead died. Another thing is you see more charred buildings. Some of them actually still have orange tongues of flame lapping inside in the center, and the sulfurous smell in the air is getting stronger as you approach Admiral's Way.
Is there a firefighting brigade in Thalassia?
Mm-hmm.
Have we heard or seen any sign of them?
No. Strangely, One of the houses that you cross is not only not burned, it's actually covered in snow. It's a simple 2-story, one-family home, and you can see a fireplace glowing warmly inside through the windows. The snow is about 10 inches deep. It's on top of the roof, it's in the yard, but it stops with a sharp edge right at the street. And it stops in a fashion that snow cannot possibly support the weight of that sharp corner. You see stakes planted in the ground at each corner of that snow-covered area of the house, and a rope is connecting them. And hanging from the rope, you see some signs that say, "Danger, unnatural magics, do not enter." You see a little rat that's scurrying along the side of the road. And as it runs along the road, it pops into where the snow is, and there's a poof, a little sprinkling of snow as they step past the threshold of the rope, and the rat just completely disappears, and you don't see it.
Into the snow, or disappears?
Disappears. As they cross the threshold of the snow.
Weirdest thing today.
Yeah, I almost feel like I'm home. This is ridiculous. Is there any debris or pieces of things that I might be able to pick up and stick past that boundary?
Yeah, there's like rocks, and look at that. There's a doorknob right at your feet. Don't ask why.
I gently lob the doorknob underhand into the snow.
You toss it above ground, right?
Yeah, correct.
Into the area where the snow is.
Trying to do an aerial view of what happens to this thing as it crosses the line.
When it crosses the threshold just behind the rope, it disappears, and there's like a little bit of a rippling effect in the air as it disappears.
Not now. Not now. I'm so curious. But not now. Things to do. But I really want to come back and probably freeze to death. But I really want to know what's going on there.
Is this your first time seeing snow?
It is. There's no snow in Coronia.
Yeah, same here. It's pretty.
It's even more pretty whenever it blankets the entire countryside.
And doesn't vanish rats into thin air.
Decidedly not.
Once everyone's safe, once we have established that everyone we are looking for is safe, we'll come back and find out what's going on with the creepy magic snow house.
I'm definitely coming back.
I'll come with you.
Tawny takes one almost longing look at the snow house and then continues on.
The snow house is actually pretty close to Admiral's Way. So you go a few more blocks down, and then you finally round a corner, and you see the cobblestone streets turn into a much smoother and fancier red brick road. And once you cross over the threshold to the red brick road, that's the official start of the Admiral's Way, which is the really fancy part of town. There's a lot of larger houses and even some mansions around here, some really expensive shops and stuff like that. Way up ahead of where you are, the gray-white fog here, it takes on kind of an orange hue. You hear off to your right a hushed call. Hey, what are you doing? Get in here. It's a voice coming from behind a partially open door to a clothing shop called the Woolly Caterpillar.
We go find out who's yelling at us. Or at least I do.
Yep. Carefully approach the door.
There's no lights on inside, but you can see that there's people, humans, milling about, and they push the door open a little bit as you approach. There's an older gentleman in a big, bushy beard and a woman right next to him, and you hear the woman say, Nika, let me through, that's my daughter. And she runs out into the street and gives Nika Perez, who you know as Victoria, gives her a hug, and the older gentleman follows and gives her a hug as well. Somebody else inside that has a lieutenant's badge in the police force kind of ushers everyone inside the building and then closes the door behind you. What are you doing here? The person in the badge is addressing the group of you.
Well, we've come to offer our assistance.
We killed fiery dogs.
Oh, well, that changes things. My name is Lieutenant Shine. We've been holed up here for the last day trying to get the rest of the folks out of the area here. It was really tough last night until the undead, they just kind of disappeared once dawn broke. There's still a handful of folks trapped in the underground escape tunnels. There's normally 2 exits, but the one over at the far side by the theater, it collapsed. I guess the battery array caught fire or something, and it exploded. The only tunnel opening still left is in the grotto of the Admiral's garden. But if you look, and she walks over to a window and kind of pulls a curtain off to the side and points into the center of the Admiral's garden. And you can actually kind of make out from here that there's a large, fancy area with trees and flowers and well-manicured lawns and like a brick walkway. But flanked on either side of those gardens, where the grotto entrance is in the middle, you see there's large houses that are still completely engulfed in flame.
Did we see any of the fire dogs roaming around when we were looking?
Give me an observation maneuver.
I rolled a 4. If anyone can help me with that.
Anytime that you're doing something like as a group, you can roll up to 1 with 1 help action.
I have a D6 if that helps.
I rolled 2 4s.
You did not see any hyena creatures looking through the window. It's kind of tough to see well, though. There's still a lot of fog, and really the only reason that you can make out that the houses are on fire is because it's so brightly lit, flanking either side of the garden. You know you've probably at least walked past this place before. The Admiral's Way continues much farther down than just here. This is just not far from inside the entrance to the neighborhood. Also, the tunnel network system is not unusual. There's an extensive network of tunnels under Thalassea. They were dug out many, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have fallen into disrepair just because they aren't used or they aren't maintained, but some of them are maintained, and it sounds like there's at least a certain channel or some channels that are maintained in this area.
There could be a way in.
So you say that you went up against these fire dog creatures before and you beat them?
Literally.
Well, one of them, but yes.
How?
Whole lot of luck and a little bit of grit. And some skillets.
A pot.
Sure. And she kind of looks at the skillet that you have strapped to your arm. Not sure if she's believing you.
I roll up my pant leg and show her the wound.
Oh.
The bite.
Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe you do know what you're doing. And after she says that, the older man in the bushy beard, which you can assume is probably Mayor Whitaker, given how he went out to see Victoria, he says, "So you think that you can help my neighbors? Get them out of there?"
We will certainly do our best. That's why we've come down here to see if we can help.
As you look around you, you can see that everyone in this room looks completely exhausted and drained. Some of them are just slouched up against walls. Some of them are actually actively sleeping on the floor. It looks like they have been up fighting for the last day and a half. So how do you think we should do this?
Well, I think that what we had success from earlier, it seemed to be material dependent in some way.
Aluminum.
So if you have any sort of implements that you can improvise into weaponry that have this type of material, that would be the place to start. It did seem like when I shot them, their wounds were closing up again. And it's not that I missed, I assure you. I'm a very good shot.
Yeah, that's what we saw too. Anytime we try to hit them, they heal back up again. It wasn't like some of the other stuff that we were up against last night.
Yeah, but when Xavier hit them, it didn't heal back up again. It kind of sizzled. It was actually quite disgusting, honestly.
Yeah. Whitaker continues. As far as we can tell, there's 2 of them. We've been watching. We haven't seen them for an hour or so, but we're sure they're still there because the folks that are holed up in the tunnels, they still haven't come out yet. We've had someone on lookout the whole time.
Do the 2 that you're fighting work together or separate?
They seem to be a pair.
Think we can take 2 of them?
Hey, you've got me too. Casey perks up.
It's the 2.
Well, then the tides are in our favor.
Yeah, but there's only these 2 aluminum pots. Wait, is there a house nearby?
There are.
Hey.
In for the looting.
Does anybody own a house near here that we can get into?
Whitaker responds, "Yeah, actually, I do. You want to get in and get some aluminum?"
Yeah. Everything you've got.
Yeah, we can do it. You're gonna have to sneak around without drawing their attention, or maybe we'll need a distraction?
They seemed very fond of my hat.
Now we're talking.
It's understandable. I'm also very fond of my hat, but I was able to distract them before, so they probably can be distracted in some manner if we are unable to sufficiently sneak past them.
Okay, so here's the situation. You are near the end of the street. You're in a tiny little shopping complex. You're in the Woolly Caterpillar, and there's a couple other tiny shops, and there's like a tea shop and stuff like that. And then it opens out into the gardens. There are 2 houses on fire right there at the gardens, but farther down a little ways and off to the sides, there are some other houses that are not burning yet. Whitaker points out that his house is down one of those streets.
Mind if we break in?
Or do you have some keys that you could give
Oh.
us? Like a normal people?
I'd rather you didn't, and he hands you a key.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, key. Yes.
Right. Key.
I give a pointed look at Xavier.
How are we going to distract him so you can sneak by? I'm happy to help. I'm not good in a fight, but...
Anything here in the Woolly Caterpillar we can use? Any large items of clothing that we could try and...
Flap.
Yeah, flap, basically.
You know, you guys have been fighting these probably even longer than we have with our previous encounter. Have you found anything to draw their attention?
Lieutenant Shine thinks for a second, and then they're real mischievous. They're almost like cats. They'll run after anything that moves. That's why anybody that's been trying to get out of the garden has been waylaid. They seem attracted to motion.
We should have picked up one of those clockwork soldiers. We could, I guess, make our way back to Xavier's shop and pick one up.
They're very small and they run not very far. Made to run across a countertop and then stop.
That's unfortunate.
They're toys, not distractions. Well, could some of the police make some noise on the other side of the street?
Yeah, I think we can help out.
I could shoot something. That's a distraction. The noise will come from me, though, not where I
Indeed.
shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think that through.
Do you just really want to shoot something, Doc?
I do.
Noted.
That's the spirit.
Well, the folks here, they've been fighting nonstop for over 24 hours now. We've been running on adrenaline since the morning. We wouldn't be much good in a fight, but we can help create a distraction.
See if we can acquire some aluminum cookware to outfit ourselves, and then see if we can
That's
take them
wild.
down.
Okay.
We saw a rat disappear into thin air near a house that was snowy. All the things that
What?
are wild today.
Also the mango tree.
What?
Outside of the police station, it just popped up overnight, apparently.
Look delicious. I'm hungry.
Eyes on the prize.
Yeah, you're right.
Golden, delicious, sweet, drippy mangoes.
That's the prize.
Creepy magic mangoes that weren't there yesterday.
Let's do this.
We are very subtle.
Extremely, extremely subtle.
I'm going to roll for the police to create the distraction and see if it aids you in any way in trying to sneak by. What are they actually doing? They're like throwing a big clothed mannequin off the roof into the
Yeah.
into the streets or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Strength would kind of fit if they're trying to lob it far enough they're safe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's 2 of them take it up to the roof of the shop and throw it pretty far out into the street. And as they do that, presumably that's when you're sneaking out the side to go to the Perez house.
Definitely.
Give me subtlety.
We all roll this one individually, or is this a team? I guess it's individually.
Yeah.
We're going as a
Yeah,
group, but also
'cause-
trying to be sneaky about it.
Yep.
I don't think I have any skills that help this. Oh, infiltrator.
Yeah.
So I have an infiltrator skill that gives me +1 to maneuvers attempting to hide, sneak, or break past locks, traps, distract guards, and identify security vulnerabilities.
Ooh.
Yeah, this absolutely applies.
Bum, 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 bum.
I rolled a 2 + 1 = 3.
Big old Xavier rolled a 4.
You managed to, hold this clanging pot? over his head or something so that it's not clanging as he walks across.
Whatever works.
I rolled a 5.
This bodes well.
You sneak out the side of the shop, and you are tucking around back behind the bushes around the outskirts of the garden. And as you do that, Tawny, your pan bonks up against your spear on your back, and it makes a little bit of a clank. But just after that happens, the two police officers hurl the mannequin off the top of the shop, and it lands pretty far out into the middle of the street. And as that happens, you see a large, dark figure stand up in the center of the garden, and there's an orange glow that emits from its back, and it runs up the center of the street towards the sound that the mannequin made. You could stop to get a better look at it, but it is going to slow you down.
No,
Are you
run.
focusing on getting to the mansion?
Extremely focused on getting to the mansion.
Okay, you get there.
I say, by the barnacles on my bow, and I shuffle.
Casey and Victoria are following you as well. Victoria had to convince her parents to let her help, but she was ultimately successful. You're able to sneak through the bushes around the trees, and you take a big wide arc around the one burning house. Just a couple houses down off to the right, you find a large white stone home with large pillars out front and a big oak door. The lights are off inside, but this is obviously the mayor's mansion. It's super fancy. But Victoria has the key, and she opens the front door and takes you inside. And she says, okay, aluminum, what are we looking for? Where would we find something that is going to work?
The kitchen?
Let's start at the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, that way, yeah, sure.
How will we know what is aluminum and not?
I don't... Shiny?
I'll know. Don't worry about it. Could I have that key?
How will you know? Oh, yeah, here you go.
Thanks. And I start walking, realize I don't know the house. Where's the kitchen?
Here, back around this way. And she shows you to where the kitchen is. And there's some more pans of a variety of makes.
Do they look like aluminum?
Well, this one's shiny. It must be aluminum.
Is it aluminum?
That one isn't, but the one next to it is.
No, not that one. That one.
Huh. How do you know?
Victoria says, yeah, how do you know, Xavier?
It looks like aluminum. It just looks right.
Well, if you say so. Alright, I guess we'll each take a pan. Where else might you find aluminum in a house like this?
You can make a reason maneuver if you are trying to think of things that are made of aluminum.
At least more weapon-shaped than a big, heavy pot and pan. Please tell me someone smarter had this thought, too. 3.
Oh. I will also think about aluminum so that you can roll a d8. Because I will out loud wonder if they make aluminum knives or letter openers, or... That's an 8. But Cameron rolled using my attribute dice.
Yeah, so aluminum can be used for knives, and you can say as much. You do not find any aluminum knives in the kitchen, but thinking about the letter opener thing, you go look, you find an office, and you are able to find a pair of aluminum letter openers. They're light, but they are made of aluminum.
Give me one of those.
And they're basically like the size of a pen. They're like a blade the size of a pen.
I imagine if I can use a scalpel, I can stab something with a letter opener.
Maybe as a last resort.
Yeah, hopefully you won't have to get anywhere that close. Oh, your throwing skills there, Althea.
That good.
These are tiny. They would not be good for throwing. And they're not very heavy. They're aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would they be any better for stabbing?
Not for stabbing.
Is there a candle in the office? Or have I passed a largish candle along the way?
Yeah, candles are not super common. There's generally lamps or battery-powered lights, but there are some nice candles in a cupboard in the kitchen for, like, dining.
I'm gonna grab one and try to make an impression of the key when everyone's searching around.
Oh! What kind of maneuver is this going to be?
My argument was either for finesse or subtlety. I don't know how distracted people are, but I think it'd be one of those two.
Everybody's kind of looking around at stuff. I think that you could go either way. because you can like step out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
She gave you the key freely. She's not actively watching you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do then, as I look around.
Okay. Give me a finesse maneuver.
Okay. And also, this is more for, like, do I actually do a good job of it, I guess, since I don't have to worry about being seen.
Yes.
6. Oh, wait, I have a +1. I have the 6 fingers skill. +1 to finesse and subtlety maneuvers requiring fine motor skills.
There you go. That's it. You have, I guess, maybe you have to warm it up a little bit, and you're able to make a nearly perfect impression of this key in the wax.
Excellent.
And the keys, by the way, they're not exactly like our modern day keys, but they aren't super old school, like iron single and two tooth keys. Like these are more sophisticated for what are they called? Pin locks. Mm-hmm. So they are more sophisticated, but you are able to get the wax copy.
Okay, good. I was hoping I wouldn't have to get like one of those huge table candles in order to make an impression of it.
No.
Okay.
Does anyone else want to get up to any mischief?
No. Althea is lawful good if there's ever was.
Okay, so everybody gets either a pot or a pan, and Althea got a couple of letter openers. Casey says, "All right, is there anything else that we need?"
Victoria, would you mind terribly if we took some food from here? I know this is your parents' house and not your house, but maybe just to bring it back to the folks who are at the...
No, of course. No, that's fine.
They seemed like they were in rough shape and could certainly use some fortification of the body. This is how everyone in Coronia talks. It's completely normal.
Fortification of the body. Got it. All right, so you pack up some snacks, too. Got some beef jerky. Beef jerky meters capped out.
Yep. Let's go kill some hyenas.
Oh, by the way, thanks for the key. And I hand it back to her.
Yeah, sure. I guess you don't need this, do you?
Was going to look around quickly. Didn't need it except at the front door.
Okay, everyone goes out the front door, and she locks the door behind